With spring and another Earth Day approaching, a book to consider. Welcome back to Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. With us is Anne Burg, author of Force of Nature, a novel of Rachel Carson. Hi, Anne.
Hello.
Well, congratulations. Today is publication day.
Yes, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Well, you're an award-winning author of books for young people, writing in verse
Yeah.
sometimes, at least. And the latest is Force of Nature. And your verses here, you say, are a labor of love. Tell us more about why you've written this book.
Well, I had a lot of ways to answer this. I used to be a teacher, so I always have in the back of my mind my students and maybe making a difference in their lives. And sometimes I come across things that I wish I were still in the classroom that I could tell them about. And I had been reading about uh, climate change and trying to get a grasp on it, understanding what one person can do. And read a lot of newspaper articles and magazine articles, and Rachel's name kept popping up. And really, I only knew that she was the mother of the environmental movement. I didn't know anything about her. So I got curious and started reading more about her. And I was just amazed at the parallels in Rachel's life and what she did with her life. Rachel lived through two world wars, the pandemic, and the Great Depression, and she struggled with poverty and difficult times. And so she just seems like it just seems like the right time to dust her off and tell kids about her.
And obviously, many of us know her life was cut short by cancer at a fairly young age. But as you said, she lived through these trials and was when she came out her book, Silent Spring, was had to put up with a lot, I guess, from
Yeah.
that too.
Yes, she did. And that's another reason that she appealed to me because uh, she did read Silent Spring did not she was not treated well necessarily after Silent Spring. They called her a bunny lover. They called her the little lady with the coiffed hair and the red nails who thinks that she knows as much as the chemical company's CEO and some of the more scientists with more advanced degrees. And she never faltered. This was her message to the world that our planet is in danger, and she never faltered. And I wondered where you got courage like this. And so I went back to her early life and I read not just her words, but I read books about her, biographies. And I think her life was built, her courage was built experience by experience in her life.
Tell us more about the research that you put in with this book and some of the things you learned that maybe were surprising.
Well, what is most surprising at all is really was that she got me to become very interested in science when I was never very interested in science. I just really thought it was, in my youth, you either were a science person or a literature person. You were either on that path towards writing and reading, or you were in a path towards, dissecting frogs. So it never occurred to me that there was a way or that both should have an equal mission. And when Rachel received her an award from the John Burroughs Society for her nature writing, she said there really if there was poetry in her writing, then it was because there's poetry in nature and that there really is no difference. And this is what she said that was like, I don't know, like a light bulb in my mind. She said, the purpose of science is to illuminate truth, to discover and illuminate truth. And that, she said, is the purpose of literature, of writing. So there's really no difference in our mission. It's just two different approaches to the same thing. And of course, I always knew that poetry was more than just pretty words. And when I read Rachel and how she spoke about science, I realized the scientific world there's poetry there too. And she was right. And so that was pretty much the like the biggest thing that changed me. Um, Books change us.
And did it influence her poetry? Did that influence your decision to write about her in verse?
Actually not, because they were always it made it a logical choice, but the last three or four books that I've written, I think this is the fourth, have been in verse. I found a long time ago that verse was a was an easier way to enter a story for me. When we read a book, sometimes, especially if you're reading about a person, you're reading about them. They did this, they did that, or they suffered here. But when you write in verse, you're actually channeling them. You're experiencing their experiences through their words and their thoughts. And so I find I find writing in verse a really direct communication to whatever that person is trying to tell us. And I hope that my readers have that same experience when they're reading it, that they are not reading about Rachel Carson. They're experiencing the life Rachel experienced.
That's very interesting. And the art in this book is also wonderful. Tell us more about that.
I know. I can mostly only tell you that I'm very lucky. Sophie Blackall is an award-winning, artist. And really, once you write your story, it's up to your publishing house usually to follow to find the artist that best matches your work. And so Sophie just did a beautiful job. Her cover is exquisite, and all of the line drawings, the delicate line drawings inside are exquisite.
Do you have a favorite passage from here that you might want to read for us?
Oh, you know what I can do? I can read I know. Rachel was always going to be a writer. She wrote from a young age, and this is how she saw the world. And she went to college and she was studying in literature, and she worked on the school newspaper and on the school magazine, Angle Code. But then the year she had to take biology. And this is what this I feel like I had like my aha moment with Rachel, because as Rachel writes this, or I write it, but as I experienced the amazement that she experienced. So here's a page. Um, it's a field note. Throughout the book, there are field notes, which are just little asides from the story, but a field note of Rachel's. It says, a drop of pond water holds within it an unseen universe teeming with life. Microscopic creatures, water fleas, water worms, and all types of larvae squiggle through the silky threads of underwater plants. There's so much to see and learn. And my goodness, I never would have thought that. I never would have. And it made me want to look at pond water. It made me want to study things that I never had any interest in. So and to Rachel, she felt when she discovered biology, she felt she had finally found something to write about, that this was the fabric of life. And I don't know, that just when she talked about the water fleas and the water worms, I was like, this is an amazing thing that you've made me see beauty there.
Just wonderful. And of course, that's one example of how you hope to influence or what you hope young people are going to come away with.
Right. You just want to you just want to wake them up to see the wonder that surrounds us. I mean, that was Rachel's big thing. And she actually wrote something about about letting children experience nature, experience the wonder of it. You don't have to label things. You don't have to they don't have to be lessons when you walk with children in nature, but let them feel the beauty. Let them she would take her nephew to the tide pool and show him the creatures there and look for the ghost crabs. So everything was like wonder, a sense of wonder.
Have you thought about what her writings might be like today?
today.
Yeah.
I think they would be pretty much like Silent Spring. I think she would be asking us to imagine a world. I mean, the opening of Silent Spring opens with the Fable for Tomorrow, where she talks about a world without a world so damaged by DDT that are and chemicals that there are no more birds to welcome spring. Um, and I think that she would be sounding the same alarm. Um, and I kind of I know she would. I know she would. She'd be begging us to just. She didn't want us to control. We're not here to control nature. We're here to appreciate it, enjoy it, and share it. We're sharing our planet and our space with them. So I think that she would be trying to wake us up.
The book again is Force of Nature, a novel of Rachel Carson, published by Scholastic. And Burg, thank you for spending time with us.
Thank you for having me. Have a lovely day.